T.C. Williams High School in Alexandria. And the first time she was here, and the first time I actually got to meet Anna, was probably at 4 Mile Run in Alexandria, looking at aquatic insects and macroinvertebrates in 4 Mile Run. And she has done a lot of interesting work with her classmates around watersheds and wetlands. And I am pleased to introduce to you Anna Humphrey. Anna, come on up, and this is our keynote speaker. Give her a warm welcome.
Sorry to disappoint. Hi, my name is Anna Humphrey. I'm a sophomore at T.C. Williams. I'm also the founder and president of the Watershed Warriors Initiative, which is a student organization at TC that works to teach local fifth graders hands-on science that they can then use to make change in their own communities. For me, science has always been a verb. Science has been hiking through foot-deep mud to plant wetlands and measure water quality. Science has been learning about the beauty of how the world works by experiencing it firsthand. Science is the art of solving real-world problems and thinking thoughts that had never before crossed someone's mind. However, at many schools, science is taught as a noun. Learning science means copying from a textbook and listening to lectures. In my own experience in elementary school, science came in 2-week units because it wasn't as important as history or it wasn't important as reading or math. And when we did have experiences with hands-on science, it was taught by a rotating science teacher who had to teach classes to all of the grades at 2 different elementary schools. However, this all changed in my 7th grade science class when I took life science at George Washington Middle School with Miss Breslin, whose students are actually here today. And in her class, nearly every lesson had some sort of activity or lab connected to it. And we were constantly challenged to make the connection from what we were learning to real-world events around us. Not only were we covering the Virginia standards of learning, we were learning how to think critically and fit everything into a bigger picture. Part of Ms. Breslin's class was completing a change project. That year, we worked with Earth Force, who challenged us to go and find an issue to solve in our communities surrounding our environment. And as part of this process, we went through a 6-step problem-solving process that allowed us to go from our idea to a reality. For our change project, my classmates and I planted wetland plants and helped restore a wetland. As a class leader, I saw firsthand how getting involved in project-based learning could inspire students not only to participate in their own learning, but to become an active participant in their community. And we've become a force for change. I began to wonder, why aren't all science classes like this? So, just 3 years ago, I was sitting exactly where you are right now, anxiously awaiting our Caring for Our Watersheds presentation. And this was definitely something new. I'd done some science fairs, but getting up on a stage and presenting, that was definitely a whole new ballgame. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty nervous. But, you know, I started there, and now I'm up here on the podium. And so the real question is, how did I get from a student just starting out to someone with a 3-year project? And just like any good story of change, it started with the inspiration. I wanted other students in my community to have the same opportunities that my classmates and I had been given. That opportunity to go out and make change with the science and the knowledge that they had from their classes. And I decided that the best way to do this was to go teach other 5th graders and give them that opportunity by giving them hands-on experience with the environment. So that first year, I taught 60 5th graders, and we, as part of the lesson, I helped them plant a wetland garden at their school. And then that summer, with the help of the National Park Service, the students and I went to a local wetland and they transplanted their wetland plants, aiding in restoration efforts and helping on a wetland on National Park Service land. That next year, so I was in 8th grade then, and now I was transitioning to high school. And that meant that there was a lot more work, a lot more time commitments. And so I realized I needed to involve other classmates in the Watershed Warriors. And this was one of the best decisions that I could have made. Together, we could have such a greater impact. In fact, with my team now at T.C. Williams, we've been able to reach over 180 students in this year alone, over 3 different elementary schools. and we've taught 5 different lessons on different water quality topics, including our wetland planting lesson. And ever since then, it's been amazing to see how the students we teach get involved in the lessons and involved in creating change in their community. Just a few months ago, we were teaching a lesson on dead zones, and as I was circulating the classroom, I noticed that there was a group of students in the corner that was getting a bit loud. And so as I watched, one of the students put their hands to their face, and another student was getting louder and louder. And so I began to inch closer, ready to redirect them, get them back on task. But you must have imagined my surprise when I got there and they weren't off task at all. In fact, they had been having an argument about the best way to prevent eutrophication through extra fertilizer. And one of the students has suggested that farmers don't use any fertilizer at all. But another student had countered that the farmers need to use some fertilizer to help their plants grow. And so as a group, they decided that the best solution was to go and teach the farmers about how to use the right amount of fertilizer so that their plants could grow, but so that their crops, so that the excess wasn't washing into the water. And these are 5th graders, and they were having this discussion. And this discussion and this enthusiasm for solving real problems didn't just stop in the classroom. We went on the field trips. Students from one school planted over 90 sedges to help restore a riparian buffer. At the end of the day, even students who were just afraid of getting dirty were completely involved. That same day, we did a trash cleanup, and I had one group of students who clambered down into the stream bank and refused to leave until all of the trash and all of the cardboard and bottles was picked up from that stream bank. And by the end of the day, the students overall had picked up 10 bags of trash, and there were broad smiles across the entire group. They were so excited to have been able to go into a park within a mile of their homes and make a real difference that they knew could have a lasting impact. So, keep that in mind, that just 3 years ago, I was sitting exactly where you are, getting ready for that presentation. So, in 3 years, you guys can be doing just as much as Watershed Warriors have been doing. And this is what it takes. Number 1, always keep your eyes out for something that you can improve, something issue that you can solve. Every superhero has their own origin story, and you'd be surprised where your inspiration might come from. Mine came from hiking through foot-deep mud to plant wetlands in the rain. So, and since you're here, you guys have probably already found that spark, found that origin. You just need to turn the page and begin that story. Number 2, pick a goal and develop a plan to get there. Make sure you're really clear what the goals of your project are, and figure out what you plan to do, how that will help you get to your goals. Having a game plan will make sure that everything goes smoothly, and that it'll make it easier by breaking it up into smaller steps. Before each year, Watershed Warriors meets, and we create a timeline, a structure for our lessons, so we know exactly how each lesson will help the students learn a bit more about water quality and reach that end goal of that field trip at the end of the year. Number 3, recruit a group of friends. Find people who are as passionate about your topic as you are. Having a team will not only make getting started a lot easier, but it'll make the project really fun, even through the hard work. With Watershed Warriors, I've found a really great community, and I really look forward to going to meetings, to going to public events. We even have a favorite coffee shop that we meet at over the summer, so we can continue to plan and work on our lessons. Number 4, find funding. Since you guys are all here at Caring for Our Watersheds, you already have some experience with writing a grant. Creating a budget, writing about your project, these are things you already know how to do, and they're the essential skills for writing any grant. So you can apply for anything from students to professional grants. Watershed Warriors over the last 3 years, Watershed Warriors has been able to apply for and has received over $3,000 in funding to allow us to continue teaching other students. And finally, look for partners. Sometimes you need a little bit of outside help to reach your goals. Talk to parents, teachers, local organizations, professionals, anyone, and don't be afraid to reach out. The very worst thing that happens is that someone says no. And a lot of times, even no is accompanied by another name of someone who might be able to help. By presenting ourselves professionally and articulating our ideas, we've been able to build some great partnerships with organizations like the National Park Service and the 4 Mile Run Conservatory that have really allowed us to continue to build our lessons and do our field trips. By helping students experience science as a verb, we show them that it's possible to use science in action in their community to make change. By being here today, you've already demonstrated your ability to have a difference in your community. So take a moment, ask yourself, where will you be in 3 years? With effort and determination, the project you have today could be having even greater impact in 3 years than it's having now. And maybe even in 3 years, you could be up here at the podium talking about your projects and inspiring the next group of students to go out and take the first steps on their journey towards making a difference. So thank you, good luck, and keep caring for our watersheds.